A very good and beautiful morning to you all. It is Fabio here and we are back with another daily market outlook. So let's have a look at EURUSD first. So EURUSD moved down lower as expected yesterday in towards the downside. Obviously we didn't come back to take out that high and then see that trend shift. No, the momentum was so high that we did indeed just dump back in towards the downside. So once we reached this area of demand over here, we saw some, let's say, so-called slowdown, but no real market pullback at all, or any intentions that we were going to continue back in towards the upside. So therefore, if we do not see any bullish intentions at all, we do not go long. And what do we see? We see the market just continues with its bearish momentum in towards the downside, now in towards this area of demand. So at the moment, what we've seen is that we've seen the bearish momentum continue. So the overall bearish market structure has now continued in towards the downside with a new lower low being created, and this now being your lower high. So at the moment we're creating lower highs and we are creating lower lows. So now we're obviously after this break of structure over here expecting a new lower low to be created before then a pullback, and then again the trend to continue in towards the downside. So after a break of structure, what do you expect? You expect a pullback in towards the highs. And then you ask yourself the question, where do you expect the pullback from? Well, we expect the pullback from an area of demand. At the moment, there are two areas of demand which have my interest, and that is at the moment the zone that we're inside of, so zone number 1 and zone number 2. So inside of these two zones, I'm looking for a potential long back in towards the upside. But what do I need to see for that long to happen? We need to see some slowdown on the lower time frame. So that's what I'm now waiting for, going in towards 15-minute time frame. Now what I'll be looking for is a sign that there is going to be potential let's say so-called slowdown. At the moment what we can see is that the overall order flow is sustaining. So as you can see, we have the buy before this sell-off in towards the downside. The market comes back in, then again a buy before a sell-off. The market comes back in and moves back down again. So what I'm waiting for is for the overall order flow to, let's say, break, and for this bearish market structure to break as well. So what we now want to see is that we want to see a shift in the overall market structure, and then we can look for a potential long to trade that overall 4-hour pullback, which we are going to be looking for. As we're now trading inside an area of 4-hour demand, there is now potential for the market to start pulling back. Obviously the momentum is very high, so we don't just want to start buying randomly. So let's wait and see if the 50-minute provides us with any bullish intentions. Now, going in towards the dollar index has broken back in towards the upside. So as we can see, we came and we were traced back up in towards this buy before the sell. Again, we did see some slowdown on the 15-minute time frame, as you can see over here. There was some form of consolidation, so some sign that the market did indeed want to push down lower. But again, we didn't break any market structure at all. Overall, what we were looking at mainly yesterday was this area of demand over here. For example, if that was going to hold or if it was going to fill, we ended up not touching it, but we can see that we did respect it and we just continued up higher. Now, looking at the dollar index has now broken above this 4-hour high. If we now see a 4-hour bullish candle close, that means that we have a break of structure above this high over here. So what I'll then be looking for and expecting is potentially even higher prices to get reached, and eventually this high over here at around 104, let's say 650 to get taken out, and then potentially once we, let's say, break up above that high, start seeing a pullback before the overall bullish trend in towards the upside continues. So the dollar is looking bullish, guys. It is looking very bullish. So let's see if we can start moving up higher and sustaining this overall bullish order flow, and then eventually we might pull back in towards this overall sell for the buy on the daily time frame. Now going on in towards AUDUSD, guys. So what are we seeing on AUDUSD? AUDUSD is selling off in towards the downside in line with the overall daily trend. So the daily trend here is bearish from this high in towards this low. You can see we pulled back beautifully in towards that 50% mark. Now going in towards the lower time frame, which is the next for us of interest, we can see that we pulled in towards this 4-hour area of supply. So I was looking for potential longs on Aussie dollar, and I still am. But at the moment, there is nothing really of interest. We are inside an area of demand, so we could see some form of a reversal and a push back in towards the highs. But again, we need to see some bullish momentum on the lower time frame. Otherwise, what I'll just be looking for is for that further downside to commence and eventually for us to push down in towards this area of demand. However, if we now see on, let's say, the 15-minute time frame, the indication that the market now wants to reverse and we start breaking, for example, the highs over here, then I would be more confident in looking for a potential long in towards the highs once again. So that's the high to break for now, but I mean, looking at this 4 hour, obviously a very big bearish push, but if the 15-minute shows us some bullish intentions, I will be looking for a long in line with the overall 4 hour trend, which is still bullish from this low in towards this high. However, do keep in mind that the daily overall is still bearish. Now going on in towards pound dollar, looking at pound dollar over here, a massive sell-off from that area of supply over here. I was looking for a potential long coming in towards this demand zone, but again, no bullish intentions at all. Going in towards the 15-minute time frame, you can see there is no intention that the market wants to reverse in towards the highs, so we don't just randomly start buying. Therefore, we can now see that this area of demand has broken, and I am confident that we're going to see lower prices now on pound dollar, due to the fact mainly that there's not any clear area of demand below over here, which is still fresh, taken out again here, taken out, so there is no fresh demand, guys. So therefore I do expect this low to get met in the near future. We might pull back somewhere from inside of here, and then I will be looking for a short from this area of supply to then create a new low down below over there. So to everybody who commented, oh no, but pound dollar is bullish, yeah, obviously we can still move up higher, but the overall daily is still bearish from this high in towards this low, so we could now still move down lower. So if you are a GBPUSD bull, yeah, this one is for you. Now going on in towards NZDUSD, what are we seeing over there? So NZDUSD, we looked for the pullback and then a potential long in towards this supply zone before then, for example, shorting again. Now, again, what do? We don't just buy based on what we think. No, we trade on base what we see. So over here again, we came in towards this demand zone, and again, all of these pairs are very similar. We came in towards this demand zone. I was looking for a potential long, but then again, look at the 15-minute time frame, our execution time frame. What do we see over there? We do not see a real trend shift, right? We obviously do see, let's say, a change in the overall fractal structure. And there was a long, for example, over here. This was the fractal low. Okay, then what is the fractal high? The fractal high is then over here. So what happens on this doji candle over here? So then what happens? This becomes your demand zone. So you can see you move out, you move back in over here, and then from there you move out again. So there was an easy 1 to 2. There was like a long that you could have taken, a 1 to 2. But again, this is, I think, yet during nighttime. It's not obviously the best trading hours. And for the rest, no real bullish intentions. So it is very logical if you didn't take any trades at all. And then we can see we just crashed down lower. So this is good to see because the daily is still bearish, guys. The daily is bearish, and we've now created a new lower low if the daily closes bearish. And I will be looking for NZDUSD to move down lower in towards, let's say, 0.59. That is going to be my next target for NZDUSD. Now going onwards in towards our last pair, which is gold. So gold on the 4 hour time frame over here. Gold has now, let's see, on the 15. So on the 15, as you guys know, if we just remove this over here, I was looking for a short if we broke this level over here. So again, we did break it, and obviously you could have traded the breakout. Personally, I would have liked to see a pullback and then the short. Didn't happen. Too much momentum, all fine. So now what I'm looking for is a potential long, as we've now reached this imbalance candle over here. So this is kind of like now the demand zone which we have reached. So inside of this demand zone, we look for longs. Going in towards the 15-minute now, what can we look for? Well, looking at the 15, we can obviously see, okay, bearish, and then again a bearish break. So this is now, let's say, your high to break over here, and this is the low to break. So what I'll be looking for maybe is, for example, one more reaction from here, then a new lower low created, and then this becomes the high to break, and then from there you can start looking for those longs again. If you want to be slightly more aggressive, already start buying from over here. that is now 50-minute demand stacked inside of 4-hour demand. And then what you could do is trade, let's say, the pullback, because after a break of structure over here, what do you expect? You expect a pullback. So where do we expect a pullback from? From demand, and when we see a trend shift, so wait for it to reach that area of demand and then look for a trend shift and then go for that long. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, make sure to join Discord. Signals are on fire this week with around 5% return. So if you want to join, link in the description. See you there. Thanks.